From downtown Detroit, Local 4 News at 5:30 starts now.
Neighbors say they've had enough. They're outraged tonight over a proposed plan to let this Marathon refinery create more pollution. Topping our 5:30 report, for months now, people living near the Marathon refinery downriver said the smell is just often unbearable.
Yeah, and get this, now state regulators say they are set to give the refinery the go-ahead to increase its emissions, something residents say just should not happen. Rod Meloni is live tonight with more on this story. Rod?
Well, you know, the state and the feds will tell you that these changes have to be made. The residents will say, wait a minute, it's already bad out here, you're just going to make it worse. The Downriver Marathon refinery keeps growing, and it's also having to keep current. The most recent demand comes from the Federal Environmental Protection Agency that wants less sulfur in the gasoline you and I burn in our vehicles by this time next year. Sounds like a great goal until you realize in order to keep the emissions out of the gasoline, there are lots of changes like different and higher levels of emissions coming out of the smokestacks at the refinery level, a prospect that horrifies Emma Lockridge.
Well, we do need lower sulfur in the fuels in our cars. But you can't sacrifice a complete community, an entire community, to get to those numbers.
Emma lives on Detroit's Deacon Street, a neighborhood just yards from the refinery, pockmarked with vacant homes as the neighborhood empties out and the homeowners association crumbles. The state is looking to allow the higher emissions of things like sulfuric acid mist and oxides of nitrogen when the residents are already complaining about the current emission levels ruining their quality of life.
Little children, grandmas, people just trying to get on with their lives. You cannot sell these houses. You can't give them away. The houses, I'm going to have to leave this house and no one wants it in my family. And that's pretty sad.
Marathon put out a statement this afternoon, quote, as a result of this project, we expect the refinery's emissions levels will continue to be well below those allowed under its existing permit, end quote. Well, speaking of permits and regulations and so forth, the state knows it has to have hearings on this. So there's going to be one tomorrow night at 7 p.m. at the River Rouge High School. And no doubt there's going to be some angry banter exchanged back and forth. Back to you.
Well, Rod, I know when you did this story back in November, you talked to a lot of the residents back then. They felt like their voices were not being heard. What are they saying about the public hearing in terms of their voices being heard when they had that meeting?
They're saying that they think that it's going to be a rubber stamp, that yes, they'll hold this hearing and then just allow the emissions to go out and get that much worse.
That's too bad, too bad. All right, Rod, thank you.